It looks like Game Pass is going to have some big changes. Hi, welcome to ZGadgetReview. If you're new here or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, I'm on a quest to hit 2,000 subscribers. So I'm going to ask you to help me out by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you. It looks like Asha Sharma has been looking at the Game Pass situation and has realized there's changes that need to be made on that front. According to Tom Warren from The Verge, there is an internal memo going around where Asha Sharma kind of talks about lowering the price of Game Pass. Game Pass is central to gaming value on Xbox. It's also clear that the current model isn't the final one. Short term, Game Pass has become too expensive for players, so we need a better value equation. Long term, we will evolve Game Pass into a more flexible system which will take time to test and learn around. So clearly this is something that a lot of people had issues with back in October when Xbox, back when Phil Spencer was at the helm, announced that Game Pass was going to be broken down into different tiers. And on top of that, the premium tier, the best tier, the tier that gets everything, was going to go up to $30 a month. Xbox was met with a lot of people canceling the subscriptions, which, yes, $30 a month, it is expensive once you do it. 12 months times 30, it's a lot of money. And unless you are actually someone who plays a lot of games and you're spending $70 on each game, then it becomes valuable at some point. But for the most part, for most people, it isn't. So it makes sense that Asha Sharma will look at this and say, hey, we need to lower the price here. We have a good opportunity with Game Pass to get a lot of players here, which was the whole point of Game Pass to begin with. And lowering the price will achieve that. But there's also rumors that structurally is going to change. There has been data mining that suggests that there's going to be two different tiers that are going to launch. Those are codenamed Trident and Duet. Obviously, there's not a lot of information on this because, again, it's just data mining. What they say is that this is going to be comprised of first-party games such as Doom Eternal, Doom 64, Dishonored 2, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Gears 5, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade, Ori and the Blind Forest, Psychonauts, State of Decay 2, Elder Scrolls Online, and some retro classics. Now, the restructuring supposedly is going to take place later this year to give players a more flexible way of getting into Game Pass. There's been the long rumor ad-supported option that supposedly Xbox is going to launch at some point. So one of these tiers could relate to that. And as I've said before, I don't know how a ad-supported Game Pass will work, because that's the one thing that I don't understand is, will you have an ad when you launch Game Pass, like if you're playing cloud games and it will give you like an ad, or if you download a game, then you will see an ad before you can play the game. Like, that's the part that baffles me about how it will work. It will be all streaming only, like you could only play in the cloud. So like that will be one of the options. So therefore, you will have an ad before you play a game, and then when you're going to exit a game, then they serve you another ad. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how they're going to do that. The other rumor is that, and this kind of makes sense, probably looking into removing Call of Duty off of Game Pass, which, while it is cool to have Call of Duty included in your Game Pass subscription, it never really made much sense to me that you will buy a studio for billions of dollars that makes this very popular game that people buy all of the time, to tie it to a subscription service where people can very easily go in, sample the game, and then step out. Whichever way means that these people aren't paying full price for the game. So you're kind of shrinking the market for the biggest game that you now own. Also, let's remember that the reason why the price of Game Pass went up is because of Call of Duty. Call of Duty is an expensive game to make. Call of Duty was an expensive game to acquire as part of the Activision purchase. A way to bring that price down will be to remove Call of Duty out of the service and keep it as a separate thing. Then that will allow you to lower the price of Game Pass. Sure, you're losing Call of Duty as an incentive for people to sign up, but you're going to have other games in there. Like, for example, Gears of War Emergence Day is going to come out and it's going to go on Game Pass. Fable is going to come out and it's going to go on Game Pass. So you're going to have other games that are going to attract people to your service. But if you do it at a cheaper price, it might make it even more that enticing for people who don't really care about Call of Duty to play all of these games and pay less money for the service. So it makes sense to do this from, the point of view where you can, have your cake and eat it too kind of idea. You can continue selling Call of Duty, make tons of money out of that sale and lower your price on Game Pass and make money out of the Game Pass model with games that are going to attract people. And you don't necessarily need to lower it that much. I think that if you brought it down to $25, I think people will still be willing to pay that much. I really don't think that we're going to go back to the $20 a month model or the $15 a month model. I think that if they lower the price, it's going to be around $25, maybe even like a weird number like $23 a month. I think that will be enough of a decrease on the monthly subscription that will entice people to go back to the service. Again, while it was exciting to see that Call of Duty was part of Game Pass, it always was kind of weird to me that you will do that. Of course, we're going to hear more about all of this in June when we have the Xbox Fan Fest and the event that now replaces E3, where they're going to, of course, talk about the upcoming games, any big announcements that they may have, maybe stuff about Project Helix as well. But I think that all of these things that Asha Sharma is going to do are things that we're going to hear fully in June. So we don't have long to hear about these things, see how Game Pass is going to change, if Project Helix is going to be officially unveiled. All of those things I'm sure we'll be hearing about in June. What do you think about the possible changes on Game Pass? Are you excited that the price might come down? In turn, are you bothered that they're going to remove Call of Duty from it? Will that, make it less of an incentive for you to get it? Let me know in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.